When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in rivers, and the tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And high up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know just what you were. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. See a stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. See a stream down your face, see a stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from your mistakes. See a stream down your face, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Welcome. Sorry for the delay. One small thing, if anyone's got a mobile phone turned on, could you please turn it off, throw it away, or put it on silent? Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your presence in attending today for the funeral of our son, Joel Stuart Cooper. And welcome from myself, Joel's mother Wendy, his sister Melanie, and brother-in-law Jason. There appears to be a large gathering here today to farewell Joel, who was just 28 years old. Some are here as family, some relatives, some old friends, recent friends, true friends, and some acquaintances. But we are all here to mourn and show our respect to him. Remember him here in a closure in Joel's life. I would like to point out that this is not your average, traditional, typical mainstream funeral. It is as unique as Joel was. Please be patient, it may take a while. So if any language I use offends anybody, I apologise now. Joel would have wanted it that way. In saying this, though, I will do my best to refrain from swearing, as this was something I saw ingrained into Joel's, even though I may not have been too successful at the use of his F word, was ingrained in his speech. At this early point, I'd like to ask Melanie, Joel's sister, to say a few words.
Yep. For those who know Joel well, you could understand why I'm standing here in something that, to begin with, started to feel like I was writing another character reference for something to get him out of trouble again. The past few weeks have just felt so surreal, and I keep expecting him to walk through the door with that bloody smile on his face saying sorry, putting his arm around me and still managing to get a laugh out of me regardless of what he'd done. And I really wish that this was just another character reference. But as I sat there beginning to write, it hit me that this would be my final reference from my brother. And I found myself stumped for words and unsure where to start. It's easier to write something to help you, but it's harder when you know that I can't help you anymore. And I just want you to walk through that door and put your arms around me. So here goes. What a life, mate. Although you struggled for years with your addiction, you always managed to live life to the fullest best you could. And boy, have you got some stories. There was never a dull moment with you around, and you were always throwing me and Jay's bloody curveballs when Mum and Dad were away. Even when you were on the straight and narrow. Like the time that sprung to mind was the time you went bike riding with the boys in Goulburn. I get a phone call from a number I don't know with you on the other end saying, "Mel, I'm lost." No phone on you, no idea what property you were staying at, no wallet, on a pee-wee bike with no helmet, and it was getting dark. And the kind backpackers that lent you the phone didn't want to stick around much longer. And you didn't have or know any of the boys' numbers, so after giving you my lecture of riding alone, etc., in the car I jump and head to Dan's parents' house to be met by Dan's mum saying, "Oh no, what's happened?" Let's just say she was familiar with my visits. After many attempts to get a hold of the boys, I ring you back for you to tell me that the cops had approached the car you're in, asking if you'd seen the missing guy on the bike, to which you replied eagerly, "Yeah, it's me." And you were then escorted back to the property where you all then invited the backpackers to stay with you and enjoyed the rest. This was just one recent example of the experiences Joel had, and to hear the excitement, relief and tears in Dan's voice that night when they found him was incredible. It's this kind of friendship that Joel shared with so many people, and I always admired his brotherhood and loyalty towards his mates. Your big heart, mate, was inspirational, but also got you in so much trouble. However, after really giving it thought, I can accept all the difficulties we experienced as your huge, kind heart, respect for others, loyalty and loving nature made up for it, made you the person you were. You were such a people person and touched so many people throughout your short life. It didn't matter who you met, you always managed to have people finding a soft spot for you. He never had trouble making friends. Another memory of mine is when, on our family holiday at the Great Barrier Reef, Joel made friends with a little German boy the same age as him, and whilst both snorkelling on the reef, taking in the beautiful surroundings, he had head down, bum up, feet kicking, and forgetting to raise his head to make sure he stayed within the boundaries given to him. He somehow ended up a very, very, very long way out. The rescue boat was about to be launched. However, you almost killed Dad that day when he swam out after you. Didn't matter what you did in life, mate, you always had to push the boundaries. Trouble followed you and Dad was always by your side. No matter how hard life got, you always seemed to have that cheeky grin on your face. And you had an awesome sense of humour, which often had me in stitches and sometimes even shaking my head. Your smile was contagious, and it always seemed to rub off onto me and generally anyone else who was in your company. Joel would give you the shirt off his back, but not his shoes. Don't let me start on that. I've never met anyone with as many shoes as you, mate, and really never understood your fetish and constant request to order new shoes online. And although you didn't quite make it for Jack's first birthday last weekend, you'll be pleased to know that your awesome mates, Johnny and Paul, bought him his first pair of Nike Air Maxes, just like you would have done, and he's wearing them today, so I hope you like them.
Settle. Big breath. Wait.
I know you didn't think so. You taught me a lot about life, mate, and I thank you for that. You always saw the good in people regardless of their situation and taught me not to be so judgmental. My only wish was that you use some of that passion and desire to help others towards yourself and to have believed in yourself, because you really were one of a kind and such a special person. You amazed me that whenever you put your mind to something, you could always achieve it. And despite being here today, I'm so proud of what you did achieve for yourself the past few years. You tried so hard to rid yourself of your past and become a better person. And you succeeded, mate. You were man I love, and an awesome uncle. Your bond and respect you had for Jason was always appreciated by me. And I'm glad that the two of you are such good mates and brothers. He's going to miss his fishing buddy, but promises he'll catch you a fish one day. Sorry, babe. I know you appreciated his friendship, as did Jason yours, and he also loved how open and honest you always be with him. Both Gemma and Jack adored you. And I know a little girl that is going to miss you so much, but she already is looking to the stars in the sky to see you. And I know you will always be watching over both of them. You were so good with the kids, and your constant contact and time spent with them has meant the world to me, Jason, and the kids. The hardest thing for me to accept at them is that the kids have lost the most genuine, kind-hearted uncle you could ask for, and your love with them was just so precious. Your interest towards Matt and Casey's well-being all the time was also very cherished. I'm going to miss you telling me stories of our childhood. You could always remember every moment and fill in so many blanks for me. And it's now I believe that you remembered so much of these days because you cherished them so much, and I want you to know so did I. I look back now and we had the best time growing up together. I wouldn't have swapped you for any other brother, mate, even though I may have said it a couple of times. I feel so blessed to have the family bond that we have. I'll miss you so much, but I hope you can now rest in peace. You will forever be in our hearts, and I'll love you always. Until we meet again, later.
My name is John Cooper, and I am the father of an addict, and I would like to share with you Joel's story and relieve myself of many of my internal family burdens that I've kept from most. To begin with, I would like to reminisce on the good times. As a baby and young child, Joel was always such a happy, cheeky boy. He was such a strong-minded and determined boy, full of life and energy. His love for adventure was always present. He was a very typical boy that always gave himself everything a go, and often getting himself into trouble, whether it was falling through the roof of the cubby house or stacking his bike. He was a tough little kid, but with no fear of anything. He could be stubborn and determined, yet he could be very affectionate with us, but did not like to show this in public. However, in looking back on all the photos as he grew older, he was always had his arm around someone, holding them tight. His primary school days were fun for him. He was keen to learn and participate, and as I look back through his school album the other night, he has numerous merit awards, mostly for improved behaviour, good manners, trying, working very hard, finishing his work on time, most improved, interesting ideas, and one for even keeping his chair legs on the floor. In his youth, Joel was an extremely gifted sportsman in basically every sport, and from an early age he played softball under my guidance. In my opinion, he was very talented. I also coached him at representative level, being a state runners-up numerous times and finally winning the state under-16s title, which Joel played a major part in. But his love was with rugby league, playing many years for Cambridge Park First Division age groups and often playing up as well in the older teams. He played both rep footy for both Penrith Panthers and Balmain Tigers, until his introduction to boardroom politics saw him give it all away. Talent surely wasted. This blow to his sporting lifestyle and journey contributed to another downturn in his life, from which he never returned to organised sport again. He had a unique attribute of throwing right-handed and batting left-handed in all ball sports, an unusual trait that my father also exceeded in at his cricket and golf career. Both my father and son shared a passion for fishing. They loved it, something I had no interest in. I lost my father at a very early age, and now my son has joined him. Joel knew grandfather, but maybe if you dream there is an afterlife. They might meet up, play catch, hit a ball. Dad could kick him up the arse and clip him over the ear for me, then go throw a line in together. In both our baseball and softball time, I'd consider myself and Joel to be a more than reasonable hitters of the ball. Joel was a big hitter, certainly bigger than me, and he was definitely more gifted and natural than me. Where I had to work harder for my results to be there, it was a reflection of our different and separate lifestyles. Joel was a shit at high school. Something changed for him. He was certainly not dumb, just lazy, easily influenced by others. He was usually a follower, not a leader. There were many distractions for him. He became extremely streetwise and usually just didn't want to be at school. Drop him at the front gate, he'd be straight out the back gate. He did achieve his school certificate though, only just, and he would often be mentioned only to have it delayed, or he would be recalled to fit in with the school's rep league or union games who needed him. My association with his principal became reasonably close, with Joel's absenteeism being the usual conversation. It was whilst at high school that Joel was introduced to drugs, which paved an alternate path in life. He suffered severely from depression from an early age. It's a real disease. Depression would bring on drugs. Drugs would escalate depression. It's a vicious cycle, and it was sometimes close to Joel all struggled with. A lot of you here may be oblivious to these issues and only saw the smiling, grinning Joel putting on a brave face. Don't get me wrong, there were many great times and moments within his life. His medications helped, but he had a lot of trouble coping and dealing with some of life's simplest challenges. Hard to accept for those that also knew and experienced his great and sometimes warped sense of humour. Excuse me. His work ethic was second to none when he was clean. Whether he worked for me or employed by someone else, he could certainly achieve results in anything he set his mind to. Through good, honest, hard work, he could work alongside and have a respect from mine and his work colleagues. I've always been of the opinion that I've had two sons like Jekyll and Hyde. I had the most beautiful son, boy and man, the most thoughtful, talented, caring, loving, jovial, generous, kind, gentle and sensitive person when he was clean. Then there was the Joel sometimes possessed by the demons that the curse of addiction to drugs has turned him into a dependent, schizophrenic, lost soul, sometimes a pathetic version of a human being, which would turn his life to shit. My quite often phrase to him, to which he would agree with me, was, everything fucked in your life caused by drugs. He would totally acknowledge and accept this, but could not control it. Of those of you who may be opinionated or unfamiliar with the disease of the addiction of drugs, Melanie, thank you. Mental illness and depression, you may not understand what some of the things I am on about and may be oblivious to what a user and their family go through. In saying this, I do not wish for my son's death to be assumed as just another overdose. I would like the facts to be known that my son's death was a combination of many contributing factors, being in his enlarged heart, overweight from his medication, his epilepsy and seizures, his ongoing battle with depression and brain damage which sustained from a previous violent, unprovoked and unnecessary attack mixed with a bad decision to use again, which was just a recipe for disaster waiting to happen. I consider myself usually a generous, caring and understanding man. He was always strong, but some may conceive me as a hard bastard. But through Joel, I've learnt that there was nothing more to shock me, and I've learnt to just deal with it and get on with things and reach the best solution, and I became an expert at damage control. One of the reasons we are here today is to try and begin to accept the passing of Joel. We are all wondering why, and especially why now. This we will know or understand, but we must try to accept it. Joel had a drug dependency issues Joel had drug dependency issues for the past 15 years, almost half his life, on and off in some way or another. Joel had a compulsive, excessive, addictive nature. When he started things, he usually had problems stopping. You can say excessive. He could not control it. He was someone that could not stop at one ounce. He had to finish the whole bag. His compulsiveness with clothes, runners, brand names, his collection of each year's set of footy cards, his large collection of Hot Wheels, determined to get every Ford Mustang, and electronic gadgets, just to name a few. And believe me, there are lots more. He was excessive, of course, in his drug use. He had very little control over his excessive swearing, which, mind you, rubbed off on me. But there was one thing that excessive he tried so hard to do, which was to achieve be a normal, contributing member of our family and the community. For someone with Joel's medical conditions, he should have been the last person using drugs. His condition over the years included a combination of his enlarged heart, which ironically we always said he was big-hearted. His past head and brain injuries, his epilepsy and his depression. Over the past year, Joel was severely affected by epilepsy, which has caused a lot of concern for both him and us. His fits were scary, long and unpredictable, even delaying his sought-after admission into a rehabilitation program and his sought-after recovery from dependence. We had many visits to RPA Hospital under the guidance of a Professor Muhammad. Epilepsy is something that can affect any one of us, but combine that with long-term substance abuse affecting the brain and the nervous system was no doubt a contributing factor towards his downfall. Joel agreed to and was in a fact-finding study program conducted by the professor. Into epilepsy to help obtain government funding and broaden the research of his disease. That is a killer and gets very little exposure or support. Hopefully his small contribution may help others in some small way towards a cure or management of this crippling disease. Back in 2006, Joel was subjected to a severe bashing and robbery, leaving him for dead in the back streets of Blacktown. He was found unconscious in the morning by a passerby. As a parent, the phone call Wendy had to endure his Sunday morning that your son's in a coma at Westmead Hospital needing urgent neurosurgery to relieve the hemorrhage of his brain, with not a great percentage of him making it through the operation, was not impressive. 10 hours in ER with Joel and then we were sent home to wait was not one of our better weekends. A phone call in the early morning hours by the head neurosurgeon to tell us that he should pull through after relieving the pressure also relieved our tensions. He had no memory of the 3 days after his attack, however released himself after all, declaring himself okay. His memory often suffered on and off from then on due to this incident, and continuing substance abuse obviously didn't help matters. The large scar from ear to ear on his forehead could usually be seen as a reminder of his head injury, as Joel preferred his hair cut relatively short. My household family are very close. We have dealt with Joel's many issues and problems in-house. It's been our way. We have always stuck by Joel, as we know the real Joel we believed in kind-hearted ways, and he was our blood. We have always been there for him and never gave up on him. I have been by his side on many occasions, at every court appearance, every medical situation, every problem he faced, with guidance to overcome and work through the issues. I've sat in many hospitals for hours and hours, sometimes days. Most of the time, when he slept, myself on the hard chair. I've picked him up from many railway stations, usually in the middle of the night, and driven the state to be able to pick him up from the gates upon release from many institutions, again usually keeping me waiting. He made me into a very patient and tolerable man, accepting all situations. I've never refused Joel's request to be by his side through all his hard times. However, I was forced to draw the line this time, not to cancel or shorten Wendy's and my first major overseas holiday together. Some may say we should have come home straight away, but within our immediate family, a decision was made to continue on and let Joel wait for us for once. And anyone that hung with understands what I mean by waiting for him. He was constantly never ready to go on time, and would always remember that he had something as it was time to leave, and often this was not just a quick 1 minute thing. At this point, I'd like to thank Melanie and Jason. To deal with all this, take charge. Make that phone call to your parents to let us know Joel had passed. You dealt with the police, the coroner, the funeral arrangements, the telephone calls, the notifications of letting people know, the unexplainable explanations. All this with two very small children not understanding where Nan and Pop were. Why Mum's crying. And most of all, Gemma asking for Uncle Joel. His bond and commitment to Gemma and Jack was truly amazing and therapeutic for him. He loved the kids. I've always treated Mel with love, but maybe not enough affection. She has been my rock, both in my business and our family. She has always helped me pick up the pieces after Joel, always with Jason's help. Jason and I have a similar outlook to life. No mollycoddling, toughen up and get things done. This, my dear Melanie, I believe, has helped you in many ways, nearly every problem that has arisen. There is nothing that you have not absorbed, handled and accomplished by you. And your mother and I wish to express our love and thanks to you. Jason is the son-in-law that everyone would aspire to have. Your attitude to most things, including all your kids, our grandkids, Your work ethic, helpfulness and friendship is a true treasure and is admired by me. You've always been there for Joel and me. I wish a lot more people shared your life skills. Thank you, Jason. The passing of Joel should have been my problem to handle, not yours, but you both once again show me that you are more than capable of overcoming enormous pressures and hurdles in life. We together will grieve separately and with each other in our own ways, continuing to cement our family bond. I'm not a believer in God or Christianity. I'm an atheist. And so was Joel. This doesn't make us bad people or different. However, he did follow the belief in a higher power, something greater than himself. This is part of his NA beliefs, and the 12 steps. He kept one of his treasured hardback copy of his NA basic text in his top drawer in his room at my place, and a leather-bound copy of Just for Today on top of his copy of Nana Coop's Bible. Something that he always respected, treasured, and probably as a reminder to her, not God. That's not to say that we both don't have respect for those of you that are of a religious faith. I've probably been in more churches, chapels and places of worship at the highest level, including the Vatican City and Sistine Chapel, St Paul's, St Mary's, St Peter's, in the last 4 weeks than I have in the past 40 years. So now, with respect for those of you that are of any faith and would like to express to your God, we would be pleased to break for a moment's silence so that you could pray in your way for Joel. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to break here again as we could reflect on some of the good times we shared with Joel. Thank you.
Coming round again, slowly creeping in, time at its command. Soon enough it comes, settles in its place. Shadow in my face, it's pressure in my day. This life, well, it's slipping right through my hand. These days turned out nothing like I had planned. It's coming round again, slowly creeping in, time in its command. Settles in its place, shadow in my face, it's pressure in my day. Soon enough it comes, here it is again, slowly creeping in, time in its command. Soon enough it comes, settles in its place, shadow in my face, dignified and lame. This life, well, it's slipping right through my hands. These days turned out nothing like I had planned. Control, well, it's slipping right through my hands. These days turned out nothing like I had planned. Soon enough it comes. Soon enough it comes to tie us down. It's coming round again. Slowly creeping in. This life, well, it's slipping right through my hands. These days turned out nothing like I had planned. Control, well, it's slipping right through my hands. These days turned out nothing like I had
Wendy and I have been silent and excluded ourselves from things about our son to some, but now we feel we may be able to come out and free ourselves from his demons, as he has done. And it has sometimes been easier to listen to everyone else's shit and not share our burdens, as it can be difficult and embarrassing to explain and for some to understand. It has been easier this way. This funeral at this time has been totally unexpected. As Joel was on a planned path of recovery and completing the WHO's rehabilitation program since the last February. Being abstinent from all drugs since then and over 90 days clean from his prescribed medications, methadone. Being focused on his future, being abstinent from drugs and alcohol, and he even stopped smoking for the past 3 months. This funeral now might be unexpected, as I've just said, but our family has expected Joel to leave us on many occasions over the past 10 years. Joel has had more bloody lives than 2 cats up until now. His acute depression, drug-taking moods have often led me to think Joel's life's end may only have been a phone call away, one we have expected on numerous occasions, finally coming to fruition. This may have been in some small way a contributing factor for us to being accepting of this situation today, as heartbreaking as it is. Joel's life seemed on track and we had no inclination of him ever using again, especially at this. Whilst away on holidays, I had spoken to him on a few occasions, texted him, he texted back, followed me on Facebook, commenting on my photos of our trip. He had texted me some information I needed from home regarding my grandfather's history the day before he passed. He had only just recently joined his own Facebook page under an assumed name, so that he could only be making contact and communicating with his family and true close friends in his life at this time. Only 2 days before he posted his status on Facebook, in life, surrounded by good people, good food, what more can you ask? Okay, mate. What drove Joel to use drugs that Friday evening has got us all stuffed. I don't believe we will ever know. I personally think depression played a major part in his demise, and this mystery will be with us forever. A few memorable phrases that he never missed saying to me. Whenever he stuffed up, he would always say to me, "Sorry, Dad." Whenever he would ring me, he would always start with, "Hey, what are you doing?" My reply, "I'm at work. What do you think I'm doing? What's up?" Joel would say, "Oh, nothing. I was just thinking." "Don't worry, you probably don't think of anything that'll be any good anyway," and probably say no, which was normally right. He had a million ideas, but a lot of them far from realistic. However, occasionally some were not too bad. And he would finish every departure, and every phone call with, "I love you." This meant so much to me. With what we went through together, it was always genuine. I believe he never told me a lie. If he couldn't tell me the truth, then he would say nothing. Anything, or simply just said, "You don't need to know." Our family also took comfort in the fact that, as with some drug users, Joel never intentionally brought trouble home. He always tried to protect his other life, and he always had a conscience. Over the past few years, Joel has genuinely tried to fit in, be normal and drug-free. His major achievement through at his first attempt was probably one of our proudest moments. You right, mate? She's right. Sit up, mate. That was close. I nearly shut the curtains and I'm only halfway through. Joel genuinely tried to fit in, be normal and drug-free. His major achievement through at his first attempt was probably one of our finest and proudest moments. A massive milestone and turning point. To completely drug-free, get his own flat through Mission Australia program, work hard, and finally start saving some money of his own. This would have been our family's happiest adult period together. At last, some normality and getting our son and brother back. It was also this time that Joel opened up to the whole family and made us have such a better understanding of his life and his real struggles he encountered. As you would say, Joel, a problem shared is a problem halved. Your time at made you a very smart and intelligent man, and we could have groundbreaking talks about us, between us, and about life. Mostly me changing my attitude to things, standing more. Unfortunately, a relapse occurred after this time, but after finally realising help was required, Joel embarked under his own power to embrace rehabilitation for methadone reduction and abstinence once again. Where he has been for the last 8 to 9 months, there have been They have been an amazing support with their program, which is very strict, which Joel again embraced and again accomplished, completing the entire program. He has been very well liked, respected, and a contributing member of this community. My praise and thanks goes to everyone at We help ourselves. My admiration, respect, encouragement for this type of program is held with the highest regard. I have an immense respect for Joel's past and present program comrades, for their efforts in achieving abstinence and determination to change their lives around from this awful curse of drug addiction. This is a lifelong commitment that you have taken. To all the admin, the medical staff, the support staff, You are totally committed and understanding of the effort required, and our thanks are made to you, every one of you. The presence of you here today is very much welcome by us, and the numbers here show the respect within your ranks. My door is always open to you guys. Joel recently made a milestone achievement, at least to him and I. Upon embarking on his abstinence from drugs, he chose to join Newtown NA as his home group to the meeting and giving back by becoming, as he would smile and say to us, "I'm the tea bitch." I am sorry that Joel didn't hold the position for very long. This position is now vacant, and for someone else to buy the biscuits and milk. You understand what I'm talking about? I'd like to invite a very special person in Joel's recent life to provide us with his reflections. He's not only a close friend, but a mentor to the boy, but has become an important, intelligent person to which we admire and are better off for his acquaintance. Thank you. Sorry to start off in a bad. Come on, Jim, come sit with me.
I did not grow up with Joel from a young age. I did not know him as Bubsy. But to those of you who did, I'm sure we share the same love, admiration and respect for him. I knew Joel Stuart Cooper only as Jolie, one of the greatest and nicest guys ever to walk the face of this earth. He was solid, staunch, never spoke out of school, never gave anyone up. And I know he's taken many secrets. I have had the honour of sharing many experiences with Jolie and have many fond memories, as I'm sure many of you here do today. I'm sharing them with you all day, but I won't, so here are just a few. I met Jolie back in 2009, a time when we were both trying to implement change into our lives, which by doing together succeeded. After only 5 minutes of speaking to him, I realised that Jolie was a straight up, stand up and decent guy, had any hidden agendas. What you saw is what you got. He had a heart of gold and the personality to match. Like Stu said, and I'm sure everyone will agree, not one person who knew Joel that didn't have the utmost love and respect for him. Jolie and I immediately became mates, actually more like brothers. We spent the next 4 months residing in the same place. We did everything together. We drove all around Sydney, often terrorising the general public. We chased girls, broke curfew, usually having to climb through a window to get back in, and the whole time we laughed. His laugh was contagious, and sometimes I would start laughing just because he was. Speaking of laughter, Pete reminded me the other day of Jolie's ability to make you laugh when you were at your lowest point. No matter how down you felt, how sad you were, rest assured Jolie would fix that quick smile, and usually without even trying. He did it just by being himself. He was the type of guy that would never take hostages. If he wasn't doing too well, he would never drag anyone down with him, but instead keep his distance. This is a rare quality. His greatest asset was his biggest downfall, that great big heart of his. He genuinely cared for other people and would put others before himself. He would regularly ask, "What's going on for you?" Just quietly, I think that was his diversion. Focus on someone else to take the focus off himself. Sometimes it was difficult to get him to open up. You needed a crowbar, sledgehammer, and any other heavy you could find. He never wanted to be a burden on anyone. And if he did open up, he would usually apologise for dumping his worries on you. The phrase "a problem shared is a problem halved" would also give him relief and always put a smile on his face. You could always tell if Jolie was angry, because like Tiff used to say, his lips would disappear. Probably the most obsessive, compulsive guy I've ever known. And anyone who has ever had just a glimpse of his wardrobes, shoes, or music collection would agree. Once he had his sights locked onto a goal he wanted to achieve, he was relentless and wouldn't rest until he achieved it. He loved his rap music, especially necro, which is kind of ironic because in Greek, necro means dead. Sorry, but no necro will be playing today. Way too inappropriate. His passion for this artist meant that he had to have every track ever produced and recorded. So he started downloading about 145 necro tracks at once, then wondered why his laptop was freezing. Jolie loved many things. He loved a good laugh, he loved life, he loved good food, and he loved gelato ice cream. He even named it after himself, to Gelato. He loved his Nike and Asics runners and had to have each and every model and colour known to man. One day he told me he had seen a super dry jacket that he wanted. We spent half a day running around the city from store to store until we found one his size. Even after we found it, which was to my relief, he turned to me and asked, "Are you sure this doesn't make me look too fat?" I quickly reminded him of how much time we had just spent looking for it, how much he wanted it, and that he would pay for it so we could go. He had a natural talent for testing your patience at times, and even if he made you angry, you could never stay angry with him. He was too nice a bloke. There's nothing like a couple of young children to bring on some karma though. And as much as Jolie could try your patience, you could always rely on young Gemma and Jack for some payback. Jolie loved being an uncle and adored his niece and nephew, so hearing of them driving him mad was a pleasant change. Watching Jolie and Gemma especially, I believe, was an insight into his true loving and caring nature. The day I got the news of Jolie's death, I immediately rang Paulie to tell him. His reaction was the same as mine, one of shock and disbelief. Paulie cried straight away. The first thing I thought to say to him came straight from the heart. I said to him, "Bro, all I know is that if there's a heaven, Jolie's going." Paulie's response to me was, "What are you about, bro? He's already there. He's earned his wings." I truly believe there are no magic words to ease the pain and feelings of loss we are enduring, and there are no actions to bring us relief. All we can do is cast upon our memories we share and remember the good times we had with Joel, and know he suffers no more pain and that he is at peace. In my social circle, death of a peer or a friend is not uncommon. And just when you think you've become desensitized, you are forced to deal with someone who really stands out from the crowd, someone who is a giant in heart, personality and spirit, someone like Jolie. It's hard for me to accept Jolie is gone, and even harder to say goodbye. So for now, all I can say is laters, because in my heart, and I'm sure everyone else's that you've touched, you will live forever. Much love, my brother. Rest in peace.
Joel had a passion for cars and bikes. He had a liking for all makes, Commodores, Falcons, Jap or Pommy. He tended towards the Fords, probably due to me, and he had almost convinced me to take on a Ford Mustang Resto, his favourite make at the moment, saying I needed a V. He had met Peter Brock a couple of times through me, and he was Joel's ultimate hero. Peter once signed one of Joel's photos, "Life is what you make it," which Joel would always treasure. It was in a frame. Unfortunately, Joel made a few wrong turns and didn't make it. Joel had been a member of the Classic Rally Club with me for many years. Not that he was an active member, but he always took an interest in our rallies and events. He and I did one real rally together in my Mini. He preferred to drive rather than navigate. I suppose that's because he believed his navigation skills weren't that good, as he would often take the wrong fork in the road in his life's journey. As a driver, though, he showed me his competency a few times on the racetrack at Wakefield Park, both in my Mini and in the Escort, putting some very respectable laps. In the past 12 months, we've done more car things together than we've done for a long time. We did Bathurst, we did muscle cars, all Ford Day, Motor-X, Rocket Industries, just to name a few. He had a good knowledge of most modern cars and bikes, and I the older ones. We could swap info between us, and we often did. I would have loved to pass on a lot more of my experience and knowledge to Joel, but now that's only another memory. Not long back, he was invited to a promotional function of a supercar team of the Kelly Brothers Racing with me by a very sincere and caring mate of mine, who never missed a chance to inquire about Joel's well-being. I was very proud of the way he conducted himself that night, mixing with race car drivers, business associates, even the mayor, allowing me to drink the complimentary, continuous flowing Jack Daniels and driving us safely home due to his absence of liquor. Young Jack, wherever he is, I think he's outside having a bottle. Young Jack just happens to be a clone of Joel's. I don't know whether that's good or not. It's scary. The look in his eyes, that cheeky grin, the nature and traits. As a grandfather now and a life coach, I hope to see that Jack will have the opportunities that Joel was given, but be a better navigator, choosing the better forks in the road. And with modern GPS chips, we'll probably implant on so we'll know where he is, not like in Joel's day when his mother and I would drive around the streets endlessly looking for him, hoping he was all right. There are some people out there amongst you today that don't think they have an excessive or somewhat drinking, smoking or dope habit. Or you do know and do nothing about it. You may look back on today and take a very small portion of Joel's spirit, his compulsive attempts to decrease, detox, control and rid his demons as with yours. Seek help. Talk to someone. Relapse is not a dirty word, but persistence can make a huge difference to you and your loved ones. We never gave up on Joel or abandoned him, and throughout although difficult at times, we have been grateful that we have his time together, and we're here to support him, and we are grateful he was here, grateful he was of this too. To any one of you out there still using, please consider the better alternative. To anyone out there still dealing, please consider the pain, the suffering, the harm you are causing to people you are selling to and their families. I am never going to amount to anything war on drug use, but maybe some of you might take a second thought. Joel's message to you in his words is think again and own your own shit. The curse of drugs and alcohol is usually stronger and usually wins, but please attempt to overcome like Joel. Addiction is a powerful, cunning, baffling disease. Take the opportunity that Joel gave up. Learn to live and love life. In reflection, the answers to why we are here, but we are. Joel and his demons can now be put to rest. We can remember any phase of Joel's life, no matter which one we knew. He will always be remembered in our family's hearts, who loved him, who we supported, who we had many fun, great treasured moments with, who made our life a little difficult at times. But he was our child, and his path may have been short and winding, and it certainly made it very complex and interesting for us. But will forever have a place in our hearts. You may now have a small insight into Joel's life, as with ours, and we will now try to move on, knowing not only is Joel at peace, so are we. We'd like to invite the family and close friends to join us in the function room, which are in the grounds down past the roundabout to your right, for tea, coffee and orange juice. And some of Joel's mates, if you want to celebrate, you might go back to the Henry Lawson or the Colonial. We will soon close and have some more photos. And the song that we chose as Joel's love rap style, we could use, and I invite you all to join me in his singing with the chorus for him. But before we do, I'll say goodbye to Joel, and I'll close on this. Joel had only one tattoo which he insisted upon at an early age. It was a large Ned Kelly, complete with armour on his upper arm. I can't explain his significance to Ned Kelly. Maybe he believed he could do good for some, but I'll finish with the Wild Colonial Boy's words. Such is life. Crank it up, mate. Please sing with me.
This right here, tell me what goes out to everyone that has lost someone that they truly love. Come on, check it out. Seems like yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block for dough. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime, the night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death. Watching us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you. Till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed. Strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits. Stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.